Okay, so here we are for a really exciting assignment. Maybe one of the most passionate things I am in the cybersecurity and data security space. You've heard me talk a few times about the psychology around cybersecurity and really the human aspect of cybersecurity. Well, the social engineering piece is a really huge component. If you look at some of the research, 90 to 100% of cyber attacks involve some kind of social engineering to manipulate the human aspect of it. So, what is social engineering? It's a term that we always hear, especially in cyber, but it's an integral component of that. Premise is often misunderstood, and there's really a disconnect with the term from the technical aspect. So you hear the term social engineering, you hear the human components and how they're involved in cyber, and it's like this kind of natural disconnect. All right, so that's not the technical side. Well, no, it is directly related to technical things that need to be in place to prevent a lot of what happens with the social engineering. They're intertwined, very much intertwined. Um, like I mentioned, many experts feel like almost every cyber attack has a social engineering component to it. So, what are some examples of social engineering? We're going to go over a few resources that cite some of those examples, but basically, it's when the human aspects are hacked, the human aspects are leveraged, the psychological things that we do on a daily basis. I referred to in a few videos. We think we're all very unique, and we are unique in our own way. But the reality is, we do things like lemmings quite often. We do the same thing as most other people do. And cyber security, cyber hackers, and people who are trying to take advantage of you are going to leverage the commonalities we have, the common behaviors we have. And that's what the social engineering piece is. And even if we're really savvy and we're really aware, we still can get caught up in the social engineering aspect. Phishing is one of the primary examples of social engineering, where you get these emails that are literally, think of phishing like trying to catch whichever fish you can. They're trying to catch you and have you respond to their email and give up information. That's the social engineering aspect of it. Is how clever they are, making even the address in the email look like it's coming from a reputable source like a Google or an Amazon. But the reality is, if you dig down, it's actually not coming from Google, but it just has Google in the name somewhere. They're asking you things in an urgent way. Listen, we've just been hacked. We need this information right away. So you have to please respond right away with your cell phone number and other your password information. And a lot of people do it. A lot of people do it because they panic. And then you have even worse ones where people say, you'll be arrested if you don't give us information, like really aggressive people that are using social engineering to gain access to your data or your information. So there's a number of different ways that you can access by playing on individuals. There's one video in here. I'm going to share a couple of resources where someone goes into the psychology of it and how most people, when this gentleman actually talks about how he called X number of people in an organization and asked them, pretended he was a tech guy from the organization. And he said almost every person gave him access by giving him the password, username and password to their computer because of the urgency that he exhibited in this. So there's a few different ways you could do it. People do it via text now. There's scams with SMS where they'll sort of bait you and get you to send a message to them, have a connection, and then try to get you to either send money or do a purchase offline with them with things like OfferUp and eBay and all these things. So there's ways to do it through text. There's ways to do it through voice. There's ways to do it through email. But all of them are leveraging the human psyche, the human psychology around what we generally do, or overall what we do and how we respond to certain stimuli. And the people who are trying to get your data know all of this. They've studied it. This is all they do almost every day. So they've looked at things that have worked. They look at psychology of what works for most people. And even if it doesn't work for everybody, they don't care about everybody. They just need to find the weakest link, and they're going to go with um, what works most often, and they will have success because of that. So the human side, the social engineering side, is a huge component of cybersecurity. It's a huge component of your data being either secure or not secure. Just want to go over some of these links as well. This one is actually through CISA, which is a really important organization for you to be familiar with in the cybersecurity, data security space. This is a really good general overview about what is a social engineering attack. Talks about phishing attacks, which we mentioned earlier, vishing attack, which uses voice communication to do it. I'm going to show you a video about how a hacker at a conference does this. It actually hacks into someone's Verizon or cellular account. Smishing attack, which is actually SMS, where you get a message, click on this link, and you put in information, which is really interesting as well. All sorts of ways that they can get this information. So just something to consider, and a really good resource. CISA, really good thing to look at overall. So this is actually everyday cybercrime, what you can do about it. Really good overall about cybercrime in general. TED Talk about cybercrime in general, and talks a little bit about social engineering. This is actually the gentleman I mentioned earlier. He actually did an internal audit, essentially, where he pretended to be an IT person. Talks about using psychology to basically get people to give them their username and password, give them up. And most people did it. He did this sort of comprehensive study and analysis of this company. And it's amazing when you watch this video, how many people actually just gave him his username and password because he related to them. He sounded genuine. He sounded like he knew what he was doing. And he got this information from them. Really good video there, and really showcasing social engineering overall. This article goes into how it remains a top concern of cybersecurity, talks about phishing, pretexting, SMS. We talked about baiting, all these different components. A really good short read on social engineering as a cybersecurity concern. This one is actually really good. This is the one where he actually, a woman actually breaks into this guy's cell phone account. She uses things like props like a baby crying in the background, sounds of a baby crying in the background, but actually gets into this guy's account. Really talking to an agent with this guy's permission, gets the information and gets into this guy's cellular account, and actually takes over the cellular account using nothing but social engineering through that voice activation. This is what I spoke to earlier. Social engineering is a major factor in virtually all cyber attacks, this one report claims, and you'll see this all over the place. It's not just this one report. You'll see that most cybersecurity experts understand that the human factor is involved in almost every cybersecurity incident. Stop share now. So that's it for social engineering. Like I said, really interesting topic. Really one that I'm very passionate about, and I think one that you'll probably enjoy as well. So good luck with this assignment. Enjoy it and have fun with it as always. And I'll see you on the next video.